Hello, ladies. Welcome to Taking Care of Your Temple podcast. This is episode 19, and we are going to be doing one on the benefits of giving back. And I'm highlighting an organization that I really like. It's called Water is Life. It was founded by Ken Surritte, who is our guest here today. We're going to be talking with him in just a few minutes. I want to go through the stuff that I always say at the start of a podcast. The objective of this podcast is to help women connect with God regularly, and to do that by using his grace, power, and strength to improve all aspects of their health, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. There are 4 principles that we use to do this. One is we keep our focus on God. Boy, that's a hard one to do. Do you find that, Ken? It's hard to keep your focus on God where it belongs. Yeah, he's nodding.
Absolutely. I think every person struggles with it. For
Yeah, we get
sure.
so easily distracted. There's so many ways we end up chasing rabbits. And so I find that it is a continual process. I have to keep yanking myself back. No, not going there. No, I'm focusing on this.
Yep.
So, yeah. So if y'all are doing that, it's normal. That's how it is for everybody. Next is acknowledging that we are not enough on our own. I don't care who you are. You are not smart enough, strong enough, wise enough, fast enough, cute enough, whatever enough to do this without God's help. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. So the good news is that if we ask for his help, he will give it. So all you have to do is ask, and he is there. Third thing, remember, it is about progress, not perfection. I do not do things perfectly. Ken, are you there yet? Doing things perfectly?
No.
Like
And
not
I've
even
been
close?
circling the globe for over 60 years. So yeah, not even close. I used to have all the answers figured out. Now I don't even know the questions. So
Yeah,
it's
that
getting
sounds
wild.
really familiar. Yes. So the objective is just to keep checking with God and make sure we're moving in the right direction. We're going to make mistakes and just acknowledge them, learn from them, let them go, keep moving forward. And then the last one is to work on consistently changing our thoughts. The messages we give ourselves are so important. And there is a ton of research going on all over the world that shows that if we give ourselves a lot of toxic, negative messages and we beat ourselves up all the time, it's going to affect us and not in a good way. So we need to learn to give ourselves the messages that we should and see ourselves the way God does, which can be hard to do. Okay, I'm going to start this off with a prayer, as I always do, and then we will get going. Lord, I just want to thank you for this time today. I thank you that Ken was able to join me. Thank you so much for the organization that he started and all the people who are now working with him and all the good that they do. And I just ask that you will continue to allow them to move forward, and you will help people listening to this podcast to really see some of the benefits of giving back, that it's not all about us, that we need to help other people. That's what you put us here for. Thank you for your love.
Right.
Amen. Okay.
Amen.
So today I have an awesome guest. Name is Ken Surritte. And as I said, he founded an organization called Water is Life. How long has that been going, Ken?
We're going on 2 decades here pretty quick. Actually, in 2005, made my first trip to Africa, and that's what changed my life. So
Yeah.
we haven't looked back since then. So we're getting close to 2 decades.
Wow. And we're going to talk about that trip here in just a little bit. So
Sure.
I said that giving back is important to me. It really is. And I plan on doing several episodes about that, highlighting different ministries. This is the first one. And I think it's so interesting. I can say this because I'm a preacher's kid, and both of my brothers and one of my brother-in-law have been in ministry. A lot of preachers don't like talking about money. They don't like doing that. However, you may know this. Do you know how many times God mentions money in the Bible?
It's a whole bunch. I do know that. Yeah.
It's estimated 2,350 times.
Wow.
So if he's
Crazy.
saying talking about it that much, it must mean that it's important. So I don't have a problem
Hmm.
talking about money. I think that the key is we need to use it wisely. And one of the things that I think God expects us to do is to help other people with it. It's not just to hoard it ourselves and
Absolutely.
sit on it. It's to use it well. So we have known each other, you and I, for years. We both were going to Henderson Hills Baptist Church. I think you were the youth director at the time that I started going there.
Yep.
My boys were too young to be in your youth group, but you and I, so we knew each other slightly, but you and Ed, my late husband, were in drama together. And I know you did a lot of
Yeah.
different productions together. Henderson, I don't know if they still do, but boy, when we were there, there was the Christmas and the Easter, and remember the judgment houses for Halloween?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Absolutely.
I don't
Yep.
think
Sure
churches
do.
do those anymore. I miss those. But
I don't think they do either. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you guys were both really active in that. So, tell us first of all about your family. Where did you grow up? Do you have brothers and sisters? What your parents do? Kind of give us
Yeah.
some background.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, first of all, Dr. Rich, I would just like to say thanks. We have known each other for a very long time.
Yeah.
That does say something that that
Uh-huh.
you're still talking to me. That's for
Mhm.
sure. But
Yeah.
no, it's been a joy to know you and your family over the years. And yeah, Ed and I had a great time working in drama and things together at the church. But to me, what really speaks is you not only are doing some things that are changing people's lives through counseling and things like that, but you've been involved financially with Waters Life for years now.
Yeah.
And first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for your involvement
My pleasure.
financially, but then also bringing us in onto something like this. This is amazing. Just a little bit about Nita and I have been married. We're coming close to 50. We are
Oh.
at 47 right now, years married. We have two daughters. Kendra is our oldest. She's in the medical field. She's a home health care nurse
Hmm.
out of Mercy. And Kelsey is my youngest, and she and her husband have a law firm and financial advising firm here in both of them are here in Oklahoma City as well. So it's been a real joy for us to be able to be close to the girls, and then they have blessed us with a grandson each, which joins a covey of other grandkids, which we really enjoy.
Nice.
But Lincoln, the older of the two little boys, just turned 4, and we had his birthday celebration this last weekend. And Ari, the little guy, he'll turn 3 in May, and so
Nice.
we've been really blessed. My wife retired from school teaching, and she's
Huh?
been taking care of the grandkids. And due to some health reasons, I have not been able to travel a whole lot in the last year or so. So I've been getting to be grandpa, which is the best job in the
Oh,
world, and
yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
a lot of fun. We also have some grandkids. My oldest daughter has two step grandchildren, and then we have an adopted son in China with 3. They've got twin girls, and Liam, who's going to be the girls just turned 9, and Liam he'll be 3. Uh, uh, just turned 3 as well this month. And so, yeah, we've got them spread out all over the place. But it's a joy being a grandpa, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, I'm not clear. The ones in China, whose kids are those?
Those are their kids. Yeah. It's a Chinese family that years ago, Sean, the dad, we not officially, but we adopted him into our family, call
Got
him
it.
our son.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's just a super guy. He married Echo, his wife. They moved here for a while, and then when right before COVID hit, they went back to China to for the birth of Liam, and have been stuck there since. So they are really kind of in a rock and a hard place uh, because of the visa situation, their green card situation, all of that. Now it's kind of in jeopardy simply because of the time lapse. So anyway, just keep them in your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
We want to get them back here as soon as possible. We're thinking that maybe this summer, God willing, that we'll be able to have them back here at least for part of the summer anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. Okay. So I did a fair amount of research on Water is Life. I mean, again, I like your
Uh-huh.
organization anyway. Read the material on the website, watched some of your videos. I loved your TED Talk, by the way. I know that that's been a while, but that was a really
Oh, thank you.
I like that.
Yeah.
So tell our listeners when, where, how, and why did you even come up with the whole Water is Life thing? There's a great story behind this, so let's hear it.
Oh, you bet. Well, it starts off with an ugly mental picture, that's for sure. So I was standing naked in a shower in Nairobi after spending a couple of weeks up in the bush. And I know that's not a very pretty mental picture, but I was watching the water go down the drain, and God hit me over the head and said, Ken, water is life here. The people give anything to have the water you're just letting go down the drain.
Yeah.
And at that point, I had been reading several different books. Don't Waste Your Life by John Piper, Seizing Your Divine Moment. I think it's called Chasing the Daylight Now by Erwin McManus. And Bruce Wilkerson's book, The Dream Giver. So I was reading these three books while I was traveling and everything. One of the questions that came up was from an old Jewish rabbi. He says, if not now, then when? If
Yeah.
not you,
Yeah.
then who?
Yeah.
And that burned in my heart. I had been watching. We had taken a truck and we had a big rota tank on the back full of water because we knew that the community we were going into was having struggles with water. But all along the way, we saw kids stand alongside the road begging and holding up an empty water bottle and then
Oh,
motioning to their mouth. And we'd stop, we'd fill up their water bottles, and they'd run back to these little grass huts like they had, gold.
yeah.
And it just blew my mind. And so as
Yeah.
I'm processing, standing there in the shower, I knew I had to do something. And the one of the real turning points for me was visiting with the little lady there in the Turkana village up in northern Kenya. Was playing. We were talking. I was trying to find out through an interpreter some of the things that were going on in the community and how life was with a baby and all that. So this little guy's about a year and a half old, maybe maybe almost two. Uh, just having fun, making him laugh and tickling. We were just having a good time. And then she's holding him, and I asked the mom through the interpreter the dumbest question I could ask. I asked, "What's his name?" And this really weird look came over her face, and she told the interpreter a few things, and he looked at me and just kind of dropped his head. He said, "Ken," says, "he doesn't have a name. They just call him Boy or Blessing." Um, he said, "He'll probably die." I said,
Oh,
"What?" And so as I began to do some research, 1 in 5 children in sub-Saharan Africa will die before they reach the age of 5. And
oh,
so it was one of those real turning points for me. So I'm standing there in the shower, I'm watching that water go down the drain and all these visuals of these
right.
kids and the need and everything. And I said, gosh, I've got to do something. So a couple months later, I drilled my first well in Kenya, and we haven't looked back since. We're in 47 countries now around the world with water sanitation and hygiene projects, working with a lot of different groups and organizations as well as our own initiatives. And it's been one of those things where, we've been able to put billions of liters of water into the hands of people that desperately need it. Today, 6,000 people will die because they don't have safe drinking water. 5,000 of them are kids. And so
Wow.
our goal is to work with as many, schools and
Right.
churches and community centers as we can, because that's the most vulnerable population.
Yeah.
And if we can help help deal with that issue for them, they can get back in school. They're healthy. They're there. They're learning. They're able to make a better life for themselves. They're able to help their families out, and if they've got crops or animals. And
Right.
so, you know, for us, bringing that one simple little factor into these villages is a game changer for them. Not only for education, but also, for the parents as well. They're not having to go collect water and things
Right.
throughout the day. About 40 billion hours is wasted every day simply by
Whoa.
mostly women and children gathering water. Yeah. I mean,
Well,
40 billion hours a year. Sorry, not a day. I'm sorry. Misquoted that.
still a lot. Well, water
Yeah,
is definitely foundational to life. If you don't have access to clean water,
absolutely.
you just can't do much. So in the
3 days
beginning,
and you're a goner.
how many?
3 days.
Ah,
You can live 3 minutes without air. You can live 3 days without water.
wow.
Otherwise, you're going to be pushing up daisies.
And I'm sure for kids, it's even less than that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, about 75 to 80% of the people in developing countries are in the hospital because of waterborne disease. So we can empty the hospitals out. In fact, I
Yeah.
sat with some of the Johnson and Johnson executives several years ago and told them, "Hey, we can, you guys do a lot of good stuff for hospitals and around the world." I said we could do one thing that would empty the majority of the hospital beds by doing one simple thing. And they looked at me like I had horns. And then I said, all we have to do is bring safe water to them because the majority of people are there
Yeah.
because of waterborne disease.
Yeah.
It's the number one killer of children, is diarrhea and intestinal issues, all related to unsafe
Uh,
drinking water.
yep. Okay, so when you started out, was it just you, or did you have people helping you from the beginning?
We had some folks helping us from the beginning, as volunteers, and that's been a real exciting uh, thing, is to see so many people that say, "Hey, I want to volunteer. I want to get my hands around this and help out in some way." We've taken about 1,000 volunteers with us overseas over these past couple of
Wow.
decades, everywhere from China, India, Africa, Tibet. It's been an amazing journey. It's opened up my eyes to what really goes on in the world. We represent about 5% of the world's population, and yet we consume about half of the world's goods.
Yeah.
And I believe that the Bible's real clear. It says, by the way that we've been blessed, we're to bless other people.
Yes.
First, 2 Corinthians chapter 1 says, by the way that we've been comforted, we're to comfort others. And I can't understand how we can, as believers, look at the needs in the world and turn a blind eye to it. Now, my generation threw money at stuff and kind of hoped it went away. Kind of
Yeah, yeah.
close your eyes and look away from it.
Uh-huh.
But it's exciting, and these next generations that are coming up they'll raise money and do all that kind of stuff, but they want to roll up their sleeves and get their hands involved. They want to get dirty, and that's exciting to me, because that's what it's going to take to solve a lot of the global problems that we're facing in the world today. Is
Yeah.
people willing to stand up and make a difference, to raise their hand and say, "Put me in, coach. I'm ready to
Yeah.
play."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we've
You just
we've
date
got to
yourself
we've
by
got to get
that
more people that
reference.
want to sign up. Oh, I know.
I got it, but I don't know that
A
that many
lot
other
of dad, a lot
people.
of dad jokes too. That's for sure.
Okay, so when you started out in the beginning, it was just a small group. About how many people
Yeah.
would you say are involved in Water is Life now?
Um, on a daily basis, we've got a management team that oversees our projects and things, and I work with them, and we coordinate the projects. The blessing and the curse of COVID and kind of some health issues has been, it's caused me to depend on other people a lot
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than just myself, and so that's been a really, really a good thing, and they're doing so much better than just me and a handful of volunteers. So we've got a few people that are on staff that help out. Very, very modest in what they are given. I don't get paid by Waters Life. I am a volunteer as well, and I'm the founder. The exciting thing to me is that as things progress, is we're seeing more and more open doors in South and Central America that have
Cool.
been closed to us. And so it's been real exciting to see a lot of those doors opening up. And I think there's some things going on culturally that cause some roadblocks, but now we really see the doors
Yeah.
blowing wide open, and got some great companies and things that we're working with in South America that are making some things really, really happen for the people there.
Well, and I think also you guys have been around for a couple of decades now. You have credibility. I think so. Maybe in the
Yeah.
beginning, people were like, "Who is this?" We don't want to let these people
Yeah,
know
yeah,
their name.
exactly.
Now they
Yeah.
know. I mean, you have a solid
Well,
track record.
yeah.
So
Well, we hope so. It's every project is a challenge. We've drilled a lot of wells that are blank and dead holes.
yeah,
It just kind of comes with the territory of drilling and things. The filtration, and we deal with two issues: water quality and water scarcity. Water scarcity meaning people don't have water, so we
right.
drill water wells, and
Yeah.
we do rainwater catchment. We do dugouts and put rota tanks with gutters around school buildings and catch the water for water scarcity issues. We also have some new technology that we're debuting that collects water from the atmosphere and runs on solar power. And we can set it up in any village, whether it's in the mountains, in the desert. It doesn't rely on the relative humidity. It actually pulls in the water vapor because it's running at way below zero, 30 to 90 degrees below zero. And so it's creating instant glacier-like ice that then melts off
Wow.
and is used for potable water. But for a lot of the schools and villages, it's perfect size. It's off the grid. And so we're real excited. We're debuting that
Yeah. Yeah.
this year. And so it will be real exciting. It's all made here in the United States, by the way. And we're very, very excited about the potential that this has to literally end the world water crisis, because you don't have to drill a well, you don't have to catch water. It's creating water from the atmosphere. And Melissa, right now there are millions of gallons of water in the air
Huh.
for every person in the planet. So, like for me, there's like 14 million. For you, there's millions of gallons of water
Yeah.
as well. And all we got to do is collect it. And the beautiful thing is, it's a closed system. We drink water, and what happens? We perspire and
Yeah.
sweat it
Yeah.
out. It evaporates back out. We pee, and it evaporates back into the environment, goes right back into the atmosphere, and we're able
Huh.
to harvest it again. And so it's real exciting technology. The other area we deal with is quality, and we do a lot of infiltration because most people live by water, because
Right.
water is
Yeah.
life. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
without it. So we live by water, but most of the water that we have is not safe to drink. You can go to the cleanest water in Colorado, the cleanest little creek in Colorado, off a mountain lake someplace. You're gonna get sick by drinking it, because there's bacteria in the water that's going to set up
Yeah.
giardia in your system, and you're going to be pooping your brains out. I mean, it's just part of it, even with the
Yeah.
cleanest, clearest water that you can see.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know when you
it's just not safe to
started,
drink. Yeah. Yeah.
Water is Life. I mean, you had
Mm-hmm.
several solutions, tools that you use over the years. The first one was the clean sip straw filters. So, and that is still
Yeah.
around. Tell us about that. How was that
Oh
developed?
yeah.
What does that do?
Yeah. Well, it's been through
My
several
favorites.
iterations.
Yeah.
We've gone from a bigger one
Yeah.
using iodine to now we have a proprietary uh, system that uses a set of opposing metals in treatment that
Huh.
causes a bacteriostatic charge that actually bonds the contaminants, virus and bacteria, to the metals. As it gets used up, it hits a certain little uh, porous membrane filter that stops, and then at the end, there's some charcoal that activated charcoal that makes the water taste great. So uh, we're able to do about 500 liters of water, which is enough for a year's worth for a kid anywhere, and depending on turbidity.
Right.
But it not only saves money because they're not having to buy bottled water, it replaces about 1,000 water bottles out of
Yeah.
the ecosystem. So you're saving the environment, but most importantly, with this little $10 filter, you're able to save lives. And so we ask people to sponsor them for $10. Our
Yeah.
cost on them is a little less than that. It costs us about $10 from manufacturing to shipping to get them into the hands of someone that needs it. And so when somebody donates $10, 100% of that goes to exactly what they want it to do, and that's to sponsor a kid for a filter for a year. So it's been a pretty amazing journey. It's
That
easy
is.
for like students to get their wrap their brains around it. You know, hey, I can get $10 and I can give somebody in another country safe water for a year. It's pretty cool little system.
So they just drink any water through that straw, that filtered straw, and the water is safe.
Mm-hmm.
See, that just blows
Mm-hmm.
my mind.
I've drank through I've drank in mud puddles, creeks,
Yeah.
streams, lakes, dugouts, out of stagnant pools of water, mud puddles on the street, even toilets on the news channels.
Oh my
So
gosh. Oh my gosh.
it's and you know me, I'm the germ freak. I'm the guy
Yeah,
that
yeah.
carries the Purell with me everywhere, you know. And so when the first time I did that was for a local news channel here, before some of the national channels picked it up, but yeah, we were there, and I showed the video to my mom, who's passed away. But she said, "Oh man, I'm going to disown you. You're drinking out of the toilet on TV." So anyway, I used to tease her about that a lot.
Yeah. Now I know when you first came out, the straws have, I don't know if you call them straws, but whatever they are, they were on
Mm-hmm.
lanyards so
Yep.
that the kids could hang them
Yeah.
around their neck. Are they still like that?
No, huh? We've got them in a little carry tube so they can just throw them in their backpack or the
Okay.
pocket. We were trying to keep it as simple as
Yeah.
possible, and the because of the size and everything, it makes it more it's better for us at this point,
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
way it
Yeah.
is. We've thought about adding a lanyard, and we've done that on a couple of iterations of our productions, but it just kind of is simpler just to
Yeah.
put the
Whatever
filters out.
works.
And then if they want lanyards, we always have some that
Yeah. Yeah.
we can put some on them. Just put a little loop and away they
Yeah.
go.
It still blows me away though. $10 can buy someone clean drinking water for an entire year. And I remember again
Per
that
year.
was
Yeah.
that was a
Mm-hmm.
thing that you all started with that I just thought this is just genius. This is so smart, and it's just so
Mm-hmm.
doable.
Yeah.
Anybody can donate $10. I mean, my goodness. So then you also have, I'm assuming
Right.
you'll have, it was on the website, the bucket filter systems. Are y'all still doing those
Yep.
or no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell us
We
about
use
that.
nano. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do thousands of those. We just got through deploying a bunch in Chile and in Brazil, and with projects there, we we use those. It's nanotechnology. If you can imagine like a straw that
Uh-huh.
is looped, where the two ends are sealed off and nothing but the outside is exposed. Well, there are
Right.
microscopic pores in the walls of these straws, if you
Uh-huh.
will, that are looped up and sealed, and the water, the clean H2O, seeps through, and the contaminants are caught on the outside. Uh,
Wow.
Melissa, I've seen. I mean, we've taken water, literally sewer water, running in the streets or in the pathways in Kibera slum in Nairobi. The water is, you know, dark brown, nasty looking stuff
Yeah,
comes out through the system, absolutely crystal clear.
that is
It's an
amazing.
amazing technology. And then we teach the people how to back flush them. It'll do about 1,500 liters without any back flushing. But what we do is we teach them to back flush it, which will last for hundreds of thousands of liters. So it's a pretty remarkable little robust home
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
We ask people to help sponsor those for 40, $50, depending on the country. But what we'll do is we manufacture the filters, and then we ship them in, and then we'll buy local buckets. So we kind of give back to the local economy as well, and then put them together with teams of volunteers. And it's been pretty amazing and fun
Yeah.
to see, because we're able then to sit down with those families one on one, talk to them, find out what other needs and things are in their lives,
Right.
and it opens up the doors for us to be able to, for people that are Christians, to talk about their faith, and to share the real truth about the living water. So it's been a pretty
Right.
amazing journey.
Yeah. Now, I didn't see it on the website this time, but I know you all used to have, and I love this because I'm a big reader, this book that the pages you
Mm-hmm.
could pull out. Do y'all still
Yeah,
do that? And you can use those as
yeah.
filters, or have you gone past?
No, we still have it, but we don't use it because of just some deployment issues. Uh, you know, you've got to keep things really, really simple. And
Yes.
with that system, there was some issues with it. It's
Yeah.
very novel and it's cool, but
That was very cool.
it was fun deal, and it brought a lot of attention to Water's life during that time as well. Um, and then we have things for the community as well. We've got a solar and wind power water treatment system called the Sunspring,
Sunspring. Yep. Got
that
that
is
one down.
manufactured by a partner in Colorado, and so it's U.S. made, but it's a beautiful system. Runs totally on solar and wind power. Does about 20,000 liters of water a day, and there's
How
over
many gallons is
500 of
that?
those around the world. Right, that's about 500 gallons. Yeah,
Oh, wow. A day?
yeah, a day. Yeah,
Wow.
all on solar and wind power. Yeah, it has to have a water source.
Yeah.
That's the only difference, and it can't be a salt water source unless we add some other equipment to it. So,
Right.
but currently, we've got tons of these going. I mean, literally all over the world,
So
with our partners there in Colorado.
a
Yeah,
sunspring, that sounds like 500 gallons a day. That could do like for a village. Yeah. One or two of those
yeah,
for like a whole
absolutely,
village.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And how much do those cost to
Yeah.
fund? About.
They're about 40 grand
Okay.
when all totaled in with shipping and everything like that. We've got we've got one that is actually being deployed right now in Puerto Rico, up in the schools there. We've got some schools and areas. This community that's connected to the school has just been pumping water from a river up to a tank. And so now we're intervening and getting into the middle of that and providing now a safe water source for the
Cool.
school and for the hundreds of homes in the community. So
Yeah.
it'll be a fun project for sure.
So the Sun Springs, do they go for like 5 years and you have to replace stuff, or are they kind of self-maintaining? How does that work?
Yeah, and that's a great question. They are semi self
Maintaining?
cleaning, in that they backflush the system automatically backflushes itself, creates very little waste, but that waste stream can then be, it's just dirt and bacteria from the source water. It can be used for plants or whatever, but there's only a few gallons that are even used during the backflush system. And then once a month, it takes about an hour to what we call disinfect the machine. It's called a clean in place. You inject some bleach in. It treats the GE filter on the inside of the unit. That's an ultrafiltration system. It's 7 miles of that tube-like filament that I was
Wow.
talking about with our home system, only much bigger. And so that's why it can do so much water
Yeah.
every day, is because there's so much that the water is exposed to and then comes through. And then the oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Hang on. Then once the water then is uh, cleaned up, then people can come fill up water jugs and do all kind, anything they need
Right.
for their homes.
So it sounds like that's an easy thing for the villages that it's in. They can maintain that on a regular basis. Y'all don't have to keep
Absolutely,
going
yeah.
back,
It's
is
a
what I'm getting at.
no, and they're even on the inside in English and in Spanish both are the instructions
Yeah.
and QR codes for YouTube videos on how to
Okay.
do the step by step. But when we go in and we put them in, we do train local people
Good. Yeah.
that will be responsible to the monthly maintenance. But it takes
Yeah.
about an hour and a half every month, and that's it. It's really, really simple.
That's amazing. Okay. So also though, you mentioned several of these depend on a water source. Sometimes there is no water
Yes,
source
ma'am.
and you all just have to drill for
Hmm.
a well. How expensive is
Yep.
that? How involved is it? Tell us some about that.
It all depends. We've done, we can do hand dug wells with like a Afrodiv or an India Mark II hand pump for $5,000-6,000.
Okay.
We can, yeah, we can drill a borehole, which is preferable to a hand dug. But we can drill a borehole. I mean, they range anywhere from $10,000-20,000 to 50, 60, $70,000. I mean, it just depends on how deep they are, what equipment that we have to bring in. We did one a couple of summers ago in Kibera Slum in Nairobi, outside of Nairobi. It was over 300 meters deep, so it's
Wow.
a very deep well
Yeah.
and very expensive. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we had to clear out a bunch of stuff to get into that
Right.
area because it's very compacted and everything. But uh, you know, and drilling's a crapshoot. Sometimes you hit water, sometimes you don't. I mean, we've
Yeah.
drilled several times and you're just
No
pulling up
water.
dirt. There's no
Yeah.
water. And so it's a
Yeah.
risk. It's a
Yeah.
gamble that you take.
Yeah. Once the well is dug, though, I'm guessing you call it a well. Is that water, do
Hmm.
you know if it's okay? Or are there things in place to treat that water as they get it?
Yeah. The problem is with hand dug wells is, of course, they're going to pick up ground
Right.
contamination, so they absolutely have to be post treated. Some
Okay.
of the better wells don't require any post treatment, but like even that well that's over 1,000 foot deep in Kibera Slump, we had to put a one of our little systems on it to post treat the water because of the high fluoride in the water.
Wow. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So they're natural occurring fluoride, yeah, and that makes brittle bones, makes your teeth gray, and all that. And so,
Right.
we have to we when we do a well, we'll go ahead and take a water sample, get it tested, find out what's in there, and then if we need um, to come up to standard, then we'll post treat with something else. So depending on what system and systems have to be installed, a well may not necessarily be the answer. That's what's got me excited about our atmospheric water generator, is that we
Yes.
don't have to
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
have to drill, we don't have to
I
have a
love
water
that.
source. We can do this anywhere. Yeah. So it's very exciting. There's some really great, I think, some really great days ahead for water's life and helping to end the world
Absolutely.
water crisis.
And tell me again how much the thing that pulls it out of the air, what's it called again? The thing the newest
The
one that pulls
atmospheric water generators, they're
yeah, yeah.
about, yeah, we yeah, we I call it atmospheric water generation. There's several different things that are on the market that are tagged that same way, and so we're actually calling it something different. But for most people, atmospheric water is what they
Okay.
understand. So it's just pulling water vapor out of the air, and so they're about 20,000 for
Okay.
one of those. So it's about half what a well costs,
Yeah.
and yet like the Sunspring, they're guaranteed for 10 years. This unit will be guaranteed for 10 years as well, and then they can be both of them can be refurbished if they need to be. So like the Sunsprings, we have hundreds of those all around the world, and there's only been a couple that have ever malfunctioned, and that's been because
Wow.
of storm damage, breaking a solar panel that's easily
Yeah.
replaced, things like that. And but yet it's a GE filter, that's the main filtration system. They're rock stars. They last forever. And so some of them are in the field at 15 years plus and haven't been replaced, and no need to.
Wow. Wow. So the atmospheric one, I forgot the long name that you said, about how much water will that
Yeah.
generate in a day? Or
It depends on the area, but between 200 and 500 liters per day. So that's enough for
how many
every
gallons is
person
that
in the
again?
village.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, a liter is about four liters to a gallon.
Okay.
So
So,
on the smaller end, it'd be about 50 gallons.
okay.
On the larger end, you're looking at, over 100 gallons of water.
Okay. And will that, you say it's pulling water out of the air. Will that work even like in a really dry environment, like a desert type of thing? I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. That's the problem with the current ones on the market, is you have to have like a 75% humidity level to
Right.
function. Our units can run at 5%. So
Wow.
anywhere in the world, in the mountains, in the desert, doesn't matter. And so it's really cool. The testing has been phenomenal on it, and we're real excited. I will actually have one here in Oklahoma City next month. We've
Cool.
got a program that we're doing for a bunch of the local churches that are wanting to get involved with solving the world water crisis, and so we're very excited about debuting that with them, and then being able to deploy these literally all over the world. We're going to start here in the United States. We're working some with some of the indigenous people groups here in the U.S. and in Canada to put some of these units into place there, into some of the tribal nations. They're having some issues with
Sure.
infrastructure, and this is a great solution for most of those families,
Yeah. Yeah.
and very easy because you just go in, set it up, and it's cranking out water.
So I'm not saying that you are not smart, but it sounds like you have a lot of really smart people working with you to develop these systems.
You're right in your assumption that I am not smart. Yeah, but I'm smart enough to know that you gotta have smart people on your team. And so, yeah,
Exactly.
I'm dumber than a bag of rocks. But I have some good folks around that know technology and know how to get things done. And so that's been a part of the journey that's been really
Yeah.
exciting, is to see the people that God brings to you along the way. That's fun.
You must have like scientists and engineers or two groups that I can think of who are developing these systems and, figuring out how to do them. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah. And a lot of them are tied to for-profit companies.
Sure.
So they may be making something, for profit, and then all of a sudden they're saying, hey, this has a philanthropy piece to it. And then they start working their magic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been really fun. The engineer guys all talk way above my head, but
Yeah.
I nod and act like I understand what they're saying.
Yeah. Just look smart. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
You've kind of talked about this. About how many countries would you say Water is Life has impacted?
Yeah, we've been involved in over 47 countries now around the world, which has been really amazing. This our new focus for the next few years is really going to be concentrating not only in Africa but also in the Americas, North America
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Canada and some of the things here,
Yeah.
Central America and South America. Simply because we've got some people on the ground in those areas that have taken up the ball and run with it. And again, we're primarily a volunteer-run organization, and so when we get requests from schools and orphanages and churches, we take a look at those and see which ones we can help out with. Um, you know, uh, Always the question is money, and
Yes.
like you said at the beginning, it's hard to talk about money, but it's one of those things I feel like as someone who is a believer and somebody who has been blessed beyond my wildest dreams.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to give back, and I think especially with the topic of today, and the I don't want to put everybody in a box, but it seems like as a culture here in the United States, we've become very selfish and very self-centered.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best cures for that is getting out beyond yourself
Oh,
and giving back to somebody
yes. Yes.
and rolling up your sleeves. Go get something done.
Yeah.
Go with an organization. Go with your church. Go with a school
Right.
project. But go and do something. We're created to not just to say what's important, but to show it by our actions. The Bible says that our fruit is shown. You're a
Yes.
tree, and the fruit that you bear is indicative of what's inside your heart. And so,
Yeah.
my encouragement, especially to folks that are listening today, is go with some group and see if it doesn't bless your life. When people come with us as volunteers, one of the first things I tell them is, it says, "Hey, my goal over the next week or two is I'm going to wreck your life." And they look at me like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" And I said, I came over and my life got totally destroyed. And I have not looked back and regretted 1 minute of it. And I want to do
Yeah.
the same thing for you. I want you to go back different than what you came so that you see things differently. We go on mission to be a blessing to other people. But what I have found over the
Yeah.
years is that we're the ones that are blessed far beyond
Absolutely.
what we're able to do for somebody else. And so
Yeah.
if you want to be a blessing to yourself, go and do something for somebody else.
Well, and if nothing else, doing, you talked about these like mission trip types of things. It is so eye-opening to see how other people in the world live. My parents are
Absolutely.
missionaries, and so I was raised in Latin America in a third world country, several of them, and people just don't realize, what
Mm-hmm.
what so many people in the world, what their living conditions are like. And when you go out there and you experience
Yeah,
it,
the struggle's real.
yeah, it's life changing. Absolutely. Okay, you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
volunteers several
It is.
times. What do volunteers do with Water is Life? And if people are interested in helping out, do they just go on the website and contact you guys? How does it work?
Yeah, yeah. Different people have different skill sets. There are some people, Dr. Rich, that are called to go.
Yeah.
And we understand that. There's some people that say, yeah, I want to go. And some of those people come up with some really cool projects, and they'll put a team together, and then we'll help them to facilitate those projects. They'll raise funds for it. They'll raise funds for their own travel. Um, we've taken, I think, the largest group from a church in Tulsa was like almost 60 people.
Wow.
So I mean, but typically,
Yeah.
we'll take 8, 10 people at a time. Small group will go in. They'll say, "Hey, we want to do filter distribution in schools," and we'll set that up. They'll raise funds to do all the projects, and then we'll go implement them. And so it's been real fun. But not everybody's called to go. There are some
No.
people that uh, would rather, be here and do things like social media and things like that. We all live and breathe on the computers here these days and on our phones with social media. I used to tease my mom about taking pictures of what she ate in the morning and then posting it on Facebook. And it's like, Mom, come on, nobody wants to see what you're eating. Come on, that's not even cool. Or the neighbor's cat or anything like that. So, but we've found that you can use social media for a
Oh yeah.
positive impact. In Haiti, back several years ago, we did a social media campaign that made fun of first world problems,
I saw
which was a
some of
real
those.
popular hashtag.
Those were
And
hilarious.
yeah, they were it was so fun poking fun at ourselves. But because of that, we've been able to do so many water projects there in Haiti: Sun Springs, drilling wells, water catchment, filters in the homes, filters with kids in schools and orphanages, all because of a little social media campaign. So people don't realize how important, spreading the word and sharing
Yeah.
things with their friends on Facebook and things like that are to us. And then there are people that say, you know what, I can't go, and I really not, I don't want to do a whole lot here. I'm not going to go raise funds at a school or do anything like that. But I want to sponsor, somebody
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have water for a year, or I want to help sponsor this well at a school, or one of these water treatment plants. And so,
Right.
it depends on where a person is, but I would encourage people to roll up their sleeves and go if they can. If they can't, sponsor some kid someplace, or go share things on social media. You don't have to have a dime to be involved. Um, just using your voice to share. One of the cool things has been that a lot of the people that go with us become our greatest ambassadors. And we just had a gal that went with us 2 years ago, did a big fundraiser in New York, and it was amazing. The people came out, and now she's developed her own team. She's bringing her own team back over this summer,
Cool.
and it's going to be an amazing deal just because of the passion of
Yeah,
one
yeah.
young lady that said, "Hey, I can do this."
Yeah, on a trip, is this something that like a family could do? Because I could see that would be something families would want to get involved in.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a lot of family trips. We call them legacy trips because we
Cool.
want those families to leave a legacy for their kids, and their kids to leave a legacy as well of
Yes.
making a difference and an impact on people's lives. And so, yeah, we do a lot of things with different families. I know that right now we've got at least a couple of family legacy trips that are scheduled for the summer. It would be exciting to see what happens with those kids. So it's been fun to watch. Uh, the the power of teenagers has been amazing to me, and our work in Mexico really began with a 16-year-old teenager in high school. Met him. I was speaking at a youth event down in Monterrey, Mexico, and he teamed up with us and has been working with us ever since. Young lady out of Costa Rica, high school student, um, developed a program where we brought we teamed up with another high school in the United States, and the two high schools, one in Costa Rica and one in the United States, they put together their own trip. We went down and we dealt with a lot of people down on the Costa Rican Panamanian border, and
Yeah.
it was it's amazing to see people just really get passionate about what
Yes.
they can do and what difference they can make. And like I said, it's not necessarily just the big things, it's the little things that really matter. Somebody said, well, what do you get more excited about? The big donations and things like that, those are cool, but to me, it's the kid that says, hey, I can give up you know a Happy Meal once a week and sponsor a kid.
Yeah.
I can go to my school and do a little fundraiser. Those are the things that get me excited, is
Yes.
when I see these kids getting involved with making a difference in the lives of other kids. It just gets me going.
Yes,
Sorry.
absolutely. And one of the things I love about your organization is people can make a difference with a very, very small amount, $10.
Yeah.
$10 can provide
Hmm.
good drinking water for a year, or they can go all the way up to, I don't know what you said, 45 or $50,000 for a big system to help an entire village
Yeah.
for like many, many years.
Big system.
So
Yeah.
there's just all that room
Mhm.
between. So, what are some things we're getting ready to close down this part? What are some things that Water is Life is
Sure.
looking to do in the next couple of years that we can be, kind of stay on top of or pray about? What are y'all trying to do?
You bet. Of course, the atmospheric water generator that I
Yes,
mentioned
love that
is
one.
absolutely at the top of the prayer list. As we're getting all the testing results, and then as we start these field projects, that all of those things go well. The manufacturers are um, really game on. We're very excited about what this first half of the year is going to look like, as far as getting some units in place and in areas that desperately need it.
Yeah,
The other thing I would say is just continuity of our teams that come over, that get involved in helping, and then praying for protection for our people that go in country. The world is a different place.
yeah,
In the last 20 years, it's been dramatic to see the changes globally. That travel and safety are always a concern, and so
yeah,
praying for our teams that go over is essential for us. And then our work in South and Central America, as it's expanding, we really covet the prayers on the continued expansion of the footprint there. It's been amazing to be able to help our neighbors a lot more these past couple of years, and so
yeah.
we're excited about what the future holds, and the open doors that God seems to be opening up there.
Yeah. And I also like the fact that you're doing things in North America as well,
Yeah.
because, just because we are probably the most affluent country or one of them in the world, it doesn't mean that we don't have issues and that there aren't people groups here who don't have good water. I mean, that is an issue for
Right. Well, one of the things that you won't see in the news is that a third of the United States, okay, wrap your brain around that. That's 110 million people, okay,
yeah.
live with lead levels that exceed EPA standards.
Oh,
Yeah. So if you think your
wow.
water's safe, guess
Uh,
again. There's a website that we use for people that want to test their water. It's ewg.org. You can put in your zip code. You can find out exactly what's in your water. Here in Oklahoma City, we've got pretty decent water, and yet there are 6 carcinogens that are in the water, carcinogens that are in the
yeah.
water that I drink every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you drink through a straw? Your
Well,
filters?
we've got filtered water when they hit filter when it hits the house, a filter on the refrigerator, and then we drink water from a pitcher that we fill up from the refrigerator.
Oh,
So it's triple filtered water, and it filters it again and adds it's got some minerals in it that increase the pH in the water, because high pH water is good for you, in my opinion. That
yeah.
and a quarter won't buy you a cup of coffee these days.
There you
So.
go. Okay, so those are some things we can pray for. You mentioned that you are not traveling as much because of health issues. Is there anything that we can pray for you personally about that you're
Oh, for
comfortable
sure.
sharing?
Yeah, yeah. I've had some back issues over the years, and I just had surgery to kind of free up some of the nerve damage, and so I'm in physical therapy now, and getting started on a good program to build back the strength and everything. But I hope to be traveling here pretty soon. But
Okay.
if not, I'm okay with that too. So
You'll just have to be grandpa more.
do it. Yeah, yep. Be Grandpa Moore. Exactly.
Good for you.
But the work's still
Okay.
getting done. That's the good thing. I got young
Yes,
kids that are on top of the game and getting things done. So it's been awesome.
absolutely. Okay. So if people want to connect with Water is Life, follow you, contact you, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
how? Where do they go?
On if you want to go Facebook, it's joinwaterislife.com, and it'll take you straight to our Facebook page. On Instagram, we're at Water is Life, and Twitter. Don't do a whole lot on Twitter much anymore, but Instagram is still very, very active. We've got a team of people that work on social media. There are some volunteers that want to get involved in social media. Info at waterslife.com will take you to an email address that'll get you to our volunteer coordinators. There's also places on the website where you can go and learn more about volunteering and going on trips and things like that.
Okay. And I just thought about this one. Are you available for public speaking for this? I mean, are you?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So they can contact you in some of those places as well, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. It's been fun. Of course, I love kids, and so being in schools, everything from elementary schools to colleges and universities, love those settings because it's so inspiring to see this next generation and the passion that they have, and the excitement that they have to make a difference in the world. And so it gives this old man some hope that this future generations will actually be able to solve the problems that we weren't able to figure out. And so, yeah, we do that. Speak at churches, Kiwanis, Rotary clubs, Lion clubs, all kinds of different organizations. It's been really fun to see the way that like Kiwanis is just getting involved with us with some global initiatives as well. We've been working with the Rotary Club now for years. And so it's been exciting to see some of the bigger organizations that want to do something in the water space and are reaching out to us to be able to do that. That's been a very exciting development.
I just think it's such a great thing to be involved with because, as we said in the beginning, water is foundational. If you don't have clean water,
you don't have life.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Great name. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. I always say a fun fact or two about Waco because I love living in Waco, Texas. The population of Waco, I looked it up in 2021, about 140,000. I mean, it's not huge, but it's a decent size. And it's increased. It grows about 2.07% annually. And since 2010, it's grown about 15.39%. So it really is kind of a growing city. And as I talked about before, it's kind of in the middle of everything. It is the heart of Texas. So it's a great place to be. Along with this podcast, ladies, and I know I have some gentlemen listeners, and Waco Hypnosis Center, I do public speaking. If you are interested in having me for an event, you can contact me through my website at www.drmelissarich.com or email me at info@drmelissarich.com. And if you all liked this podcast, and I mean, how could you not? It was really amazing. We would love for you to give me a review. 5 stars would be awesome. Follow the podcast, write a review, share the episode. I really am working. This is my goal for the rest of this year is building up my audience. I'm good at doing the podcast, not so good at the social media marketing part, but I know some of you guys who are listening are. So if you would share some episodes, that would be awesome. All right, Ken, thank you so much. I'm going to stop recording and that may cut us off. I don't know.
Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate you open up the doors to us and allowing us to share with your audience. They can go to waterslife.com, waterslife.org. It'll take you to the same spot. But we're very excited about the future and those that join us on the journey.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much. And we will be back next week.